Hey everyone, what's happening? What is going on? Liverpool are rubbish. Rubbish. They've gone absolutely rubbish. They've gone from being the team of our dreams, the team that wins everything all the time, never losing, never stopping, giving us heart-stopping moments, great songs to sing, and just memories that we're going to bore our grandchildren's children with, from beyond the grave. To being a team that just doesn't win football matches anymore. To add insult to injury, because why not? Jordan Henderson could be out for 8 weeks after having groin surgery, so that adds into the list of Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Joel Matip. Now you're having the captain in there as well, and obviously got a bunch of players in and out for the consistently inconsistent in the players that we've had available throughout all this. We're coming to a point where I don't even want to say the names of the players who haven't had long-term injuries, because, Jesus Christ, at this stage of the game, I'm back to believing in jinxes. That's what it is. That's what I am. I had the longest time in my life when I used to believe in horoscopes. I used to read horoscopes to try and get some sort of semblance of control and go, well, maybe this horoscope will tell me what's going to happen in my life, and therefore I can relax and think and blah, 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 blah. I'm basically Capricorn, by the way. Capricorn. Yeah, I'm back to reading Julie Pencil the Negro, or whatever it was called. It was it was the Mirror back in the day. Genuinely used to check them all the time. Stopped. Gave up years ago because I started making a reasonable success of my life off my own back, as opposed to hoping the universe was magically gonna sprinkle down success powder on me. Not really thought that one through. But now, Liverpool's season has completely and utterly derailed. Yes, they are still able to field 11 players, which is, that's a bonus at this point, really, isn't it? And they're still, going okay in the Champions League last 16 so far. But, the more players to get injured, there's a point where, I'm so tired of the joke of, are you going to be, Paul's going to be playing centre-half for Liverpool? It's not funny, because it's going to end up being true at some point where, what a weird world to be in when you go from being all-conquering to being very much non-conquering, and to have it happen in such a ludicrous fashion. This time last year we were talking about, what cataclysmic event is going to stop this all-conquering Liverpool team from winning the Premier League, because having gone, 29 years, whatever, up to that point, it felt like it was weird. It was out of this world that Liverpool could be so good on the way to winning the league title that there had to be something, and it was either going to be an asteroid striking the earth or a global pandemic. As it turns out, neither of them actually stopped Liverpool winning the league, so that was, was what it was. But at this point, I guess the positive way to look at this is what's it going to take to stop Liverpool winning the league? Literally losing 5 world-class players to injury for almost an entire season, and then it's just a constant undermining of injuries throughout it, and then and look, not to make it turn to the dark side and go for too serious a twist on all this, but all of a sudden, add all the personal heartbreak and all that kind of stuff going into there. The manager's going through a major bereavement, the goalkeeper's now going through a major bereavement. You couldn't write it. I spent years of my life writing scripts and stories and what have you. If you wrote that, it's just, the British love a good kitchen sink drama, and that's where things are just a little bit grey and just a little bit miserable all the time. It's film 4 bait. But if you wrote it like this, even the British Film Council would be like, it's a little bit drab, it's a little bit dark for us. Could you just lighten the tone a little bit? And the obvious answer to that problem is, if this was a story, the story that's being set up for Liverpool right now is one of the phoenix rising from the ashes in the face of adversity. I made a comment about this on a show the other week. In this situation, you go and take your team off to the desert. Like in Creed 2, you go and take them off to train somewhere weird and somewhere really hard. Rocky 4. Let's go to Siberia and run up mountains, and then come back reinvigorated. But the thing is, we would take these players to do this other training, and fucking 2 of them or more to get injured. Oh, and there we go. Mohamed Salah fell down an icy mountain and he's out for the season. Yeah, because you should be the manager and the management should be able to look around the Liverpool squad at this point and go, okay, right, we're going to galvanise what we've got. And I genuinely think they've been doing this, because why wouldn't they have been doing this? Why wouldn't you be using the adversity to galvanise the squad? It's just stock standard, positive management technique. But every time they do, it's literally like they walk out of the team bonding and someone's limping. And it's, oh, mate, we were just going to build a defence around you. It's become like, you've got to laugh. Because I mean, you don't have to laugh, you can go and have a cry. Feel free, go and have a cry. I was flicking around the channel the other day, because I've not really paid much attention to it in the last few months. And I went on the homepage of it and I saw the Champions League final vlog, and I watched the first 2 minutes and cried. Yes, I cried. A 38-year-old man sat at home, cried, watching a video that I had produced, that I was in. That's that's the emotional turmoil I'm going through right now. But this is, this is it. You've got no choice but to sort of laugh and smile, and because the alternative is that, and it's not, the crying thing's not even a thing, because at least tears have got a catharsis to them, but just carrying around a lot of rage is not a good way to live, unfortunately. As much as it might make you feel better in the short term, clench your fist, get really wound up by things, and that's a good part of your emotional repertoire. Don't shut off any particular emotions, because they're all part of a healthy spectrum of life and what have you. But yeah, I like, because let's just look at the reality of it. What happens if Liverpool don't get their act together? What happens? So they don't get into the top four, which is bad, which means that obviously in a global pandemic situation, we've had no fans for a year in the grounds. Liverpool are hemorrhaging money in that regard. They need that, because Liverpool are a self-sustaining business model, which means they spend what they earn. So they make money and then they spend it on the staff, on the wages, on occasional player transfers and what have you, and that's what they do. And they're built and constructed in a massive sort of holistic way, so they need to be able to keep generating the money that they're able to generate to be able to stay on that upward trajectory, or maintain at the top level, or what have you. So like, that could be catastrophic, because let's be honest, the money in the Europa League is terrible, and in addition, the Europa League itself is rubbish. It's rubbish. It's a rubbish competition, and this is, next year when Liverpool are flying through it, I'll say exactly the same. It's rubbish. Thursday night, rubbish day to play football. Thursday, Sunday, rubbish schedule to play football in. It's got 400 knockout rounds at the end of it, and none of the games really matter. You don't play a good game until you get to the quarter-finals, generally speaking, having played 42 matches up until that point and had to use your full squad. It has its benefits, because you can play lesser players and get them good experience, but we've been there, we've done that. We bought the t-shirt was shit, we chucked it in the bin. I don't know, none of us wants to go back to that world. But there's also the additional side of that. You might not even make Europa League at this point. Liverpool are that bad that they might not. And what this has an impact on is not just the money that you're generating, there's also the prestige that comes with just being in European competition. Whether it's Europa League or Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League, having a kickabout in the park is somewhere near that Europa Conference League level. With your mates, when someone, if you lose, you get raw ass, you get the ball kicked at your ass, and that's like the prize, and that's almost as good as the prize of winning the Europa Conference League will be. Anyway, the prestige and stuff is how you attract players. So Liverpool are at a point where they're fine. Their squad age is pretty good. The best players are not going to fall off a cliff, touch wood, hopefully, in the short term, in the next season or so. Even though Firmino, Mane, Salah are all 28 going 29, and they've still got good years. And the point is that at some point you're going to have to start to replace them with top level players. Go out and buy the best, like they did with Alisson Becker, like they did with Virgil van Dijk. Go and spend mega money to go and get 1 or 2 periodic pieces that just come in and keep the squad at that level. That requires money, and that requires, you need to be able to compete for the best players in the world, because the best players in the world are not unknown. Virgil van Dijk was not unknown. Liverpool had to battle to secure his signature. And this is where the major pitfalls are, is that footballers, in addition to just not just the money, it's the fact that footballers want prestige. Footballers want to be able to get in their national sides, They want to be able to win the major like club honours, so they want to win the league at the and they want to be able to win the Champions League, but they also want to be able to win personal honours as well. Like look at like Mohamed Salah being nominated for Ballon d'Ors and getting in the FIFA Team of the Year. They're the kind of things that footballers want to be able to do. That's why footballers go to play for Barcelona and Real Madrid, because you're guaranteed to be in consideration for those honours just for being in those sides pretty much. So Liverpool need to stay at the top table for all of that, and that is wholly depressing, because if they fall from that, that would be shit. But yeah, I mean, there's no, oh, but it's all right. No, that's just the nature of the reality of where Liverpool are. They can't galvanise what they've got left in the team, then they won't finish in the Champions League, they may not finish in the Europa League, and then you're left to the stupid conversation, which we've had for a number of years ago, which no one wants to go back to, of, oh, I'd rather have no European football than some European football. Well, the problem with that is, yes, it means you're more likely to win the Premier League, and more likely to get back in the Champions League for the season after, great, but also it's harder to manage a squad when you haven't got games of football to play. That's a thing. You have to then shrink your squad down, which means when you then get back into the Champions League next season, you have to expand your squad again, which means you then got to bed in a whole bunch of players. Look, this is the point, is it's a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. But ultimately, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? There's no, at this point, there's no changing of the manager, no changing of the owners, and no praying to some sort of magical sky person who's going to fix this for us, and that's incredibly disheartening. But this is my point, is that you've kind of got to go, there's a big circle of sort of happiness and lunacy, and you come from being really happy around here to being like just insanely downbeat and depressed and all that kind of stuff, but it's a very little hop over to just basically just having to find a way to smile and laugh it off, and trying to find ways to appreciate footy for what it is. I really wish I had more answers than that, but I don't. So why am I happy? Why am I smiling? For one, I've just started watching Ted Lasso, which is the most optimistic, upbeat television show I've ever watched in my life, and I just want Ted Lasso to give me a big cuddle and coach me through the rest of the season. But also because, look, the sun's starting to shine again. Liverpool have got a world-class manager. They still have world-class footballers, and they've got world-class experience within that. And for as much as there's every likelihood that things will just continue to get worse, there's a very good chance that things will turn around and get better at some point. And yeah, it's the hope that kills you, but it's also the hope that drives you. And there's never been a football club that's more based on stupid magical concepts like hope and faith and all that kind of stuff than Liverpool Football Club, you know, with hope in your heart and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, as much as I don't have an answer to fix it, and God knows we've tried, and I did a little bit on this in a previous video where I talked about the simple reason why Liverpool have been a bit crap, the crappening as I defined it. Please do check that video out if you haven't done so already. But yeah, it kind of is what it is, and you know, you generally have to, I think, find a laissez-faire attitude and put your trust in the people that are still there to do the business, and if they don't, also have to trust that Liverpool, whatever will happen, are still going to be there. They're still going to pick themselves up, and they're still going to go again next season, which is a depressing concept to have to wait and write seasons off, but we've been doing it for the vast majority of the Premier League era, so I'm kind of used to it. I just don't want to go back, and I hope, pray, all those things, do what you want to do, pray to your magical sky person, whoever that may be, Ace McLeod, Woody riding Buzz from Toy Story, whatever, and hope that Liverpool do turn things around and give us something to smile about come the end of the season, because other than that, yeah, we're going to be left to watching Ted Lasso and nothing else, and unfortunately I've only got like 5 episodes left of that, and that's going to be a heartbreak I'm going to have to contend with at some point down the line. So Liverpool could just win football matches, that'd be great. Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Listen, thanks so much. Subscribe to the channel, more videos coming in the coming weeks. I'm going to get back to a regular schedule, so yeah, that's cool. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Do check out the other video that I mentioned before about the crappening and the simple reason why Liverpool are struggling this season. Other than that, nice one. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.